Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sarcastic Remarks. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Next time you are there using DraftKings Sportsbook, our presenting sponsor, use that promo code THPN for a special little promo code there, some special little goodies there. And we'd really appreciate it because that lets them know that we are the ones that sent you. If you are here for the first time, please consider clicking like and subscribe and hit that notification bell on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. We are getting ever so close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. If you would do so, we'd really appreciate that. And if you're on the audio side, leave us a 5-star review, and that helps us grow as we continue our push towards 1,000 and getting to that fourth digit in terms of subscribers. Well, in terms of subscribers, I think the Dallas Stars gained some subscribers tonight. The Dallas Stars get the win over the Anaheim Ducks. Final score of 8-3 as they, force Dostal out of the net, and then they proceed to score another 4 goals on Mr. Peter Mrazek, who it's still weird to see him in an Anaheim jersey. But nonetheless, we're going to kind of break this all down here tonight, this evening, and we'll see what we get to. At the time of this recording, it is after midnight, so it is officially Saturday morning. So if I yawn a little bit or I seem a little off, I apologize. I'm trying to get through everything here for you guys and give you guys some content for your Saturday and for your early morning listening as well. So the initial thoughts. I don't even know what to think about this game. This was such a weird game. It was such a weird game because, and I kept asking myself, okay, are the Stars really just that good? Or is it Anaheim is just in the pit of despair like we saw, I don't know, like the Montreal game. The Montreal game felt very similar to this, but it felt like that, especially early on, that Anaheim had their chances. And I just don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I guess the at the very least you can say that the Stars were the way better team. It's not even close, regardless of how you felt about their play here tonight. But they came in, they did what they had to do. They took advantage of a Ducks team that has only won one game out of their last 5, and they have not been heading the right direction the last month or so. And they take 2 points in the same day where Colorado gets another win. So they're just trying to keep pace with Colorado and trying to keep that distance between themselves and the Minnesota Wild with Quinn Hughes. So let's just get straight into this game. And what was really nice is they didn't what it's not nice, but Dallas didn't dominate by overwhelming Anaheim early. They just kind of dominated by really never letting the weirdness turn into danger. There were obviously some chances that the Ducks had, and we'll go over those. But for the most part, they were able to kind of keep everything at bay and make sure that there was nothing too dangerous looking. So let's just get straight into the game recap here. DeSmith would get the start against Dostal, and like I just mentioned, Dostal would not end the game. And then right away, the game gave us feelings of not that it'll be close, but that it'll be definitely unconventional. That's what it felt like throughout the game here tonight. Anaheim would actually get the first shot, and Robertson immediately would take an offensive zone tripping penalty, and you think, okay, guys, like let's not make this harder than it probably needs to be if we're gonna win this game. And to the Stars' credit, they killed it cleanly. It was not even close. And what was awesome about that penalty kill is that the Stars were also able to take care of a shorthanded goal for. I think that's only their second shorthanded goal so far this season, and it was Oscar Beck who scored the kind of goal that kind of defined the night. I was like, that's another misplayed or miscommunication from a goaltender, however you want to look at it. We saw that again last night with Nedeljkovic, and then we saw it here tonight with Dostal and whoever that was. I think it was Jackson Lacombe, their hot shot young defenseman back there. But even though Oscar Beck gets the goal there, it really is Foxa who deserves all the credit because he put pressure behind the net, even though there was some miscommunication, and then Beck just calmly finished the puck. That I mean, it should have never existed. It should have never happened. But same thing with Ritzkovian's goal last night. It should have never happened, but Dallas took advantage of it. And early on, it is 1-0 Dallas. But pretty soon after, it was about a minute later, the Anaheim would answer back with a goal that included a kicked puck. And I don't know if it was a missed assignment by Petrovic, but Paling was just left completely alone in front on that rebound, and DeSmith didn't stand a chance. It was tie game. But what was awesome about this, and this is what I love about having like a veteran team, even though we've got a lot of, I would say younger guys, they didn't really react emotionally at all to the very quick tying goal. It was very nice to know that despite that, they felt pretty good. And Dallas has, I mean, it doesn't matter what the game is. If it's, down by 2 goals where they're like 6-0-2, or if, you know, if they're up by 5 like they were here tonight at points, or if it's a 1-goal game, they're very comfortable in whatever the situation may be. And that was something that I wanted to pull out of that. And at 15-17, it was actually Rope Hintz who scores with just a beautiful, beautiful shot. And that was something that I thought was absolutely excellent. And it was from the high slot, and it was just an awesome backhand saucer pass from Robo, who Robo had an excellent game here tonight, just absolutely fantastic. And what makes Robertson awesome is that he's able to make these passes to others because everyone realizes how good he truly is. I don't want to say he's kind of fettered off a little bit, but just hasn't been as hot. He still has 18 goals in 20 games, I think is what the broadcast said tonight. But 3 Ducks just went straight to Robertson, and that left Hintz with at least a little bit of space up in the high slot to take that shot. It just a great play all the way around. And it was actually Hintz who kind of put a little bit of pressure on the Anaheim decor and allowed that shot to even happen for him to get the goal. So great job all around, and it was just goal, 3 goals within 3 minutes, and that would continue, and there would be a lot of goals by the end of the night. Rantanen had a pass that was blocked, trying to center it to Duchesne up in front, and there was just some good D play by Anaheim there. There was one particular play where Dallas was in their zone for an extended period of time, about 12 minutes remaining in the first. And I wrote down, I really appreciated Hintz being hard on the puck to get it out of the zone. That you don't really see that a whole lot from like your quote unquote skill guys or your top 6. It was good to see that. About 15 seconds later, DeSmith makes a save off the rush, and he couldn't quite handle the rebound, so there was a little bit of chaos around his net, but nonetheless, no goals. And this was one thing that would continue and that was very obvious through the night. But I wrote down that Dallas was getting just a ton of turnovers in the neutral zone, and not them turning the puck over. They were basically, I don't know another way to put it, but I'll steal Starsman's words from the other day. But they were just gift wrapping turnovers to the Dallas Stars here tonight. Like the first period, it was blatantly obvious. I thought it would get better in the second. It didn't. And then in the third period, it still continued. So I don't know what type of coach, Joel Quenneville is. But if I was Joel Quenneville, I don't think I would be yelling after. Goodness, guys, I warned you I was going to be yawning. But where was I going? I don't know what type of coach Joel Quenneville is, but I would be yelling during the second intermission. Maybe even during the first intermission. there something had to get going. Something had to get going for the Anaheim Ducks, and just nothing. The more I think about this, I think this was more of just one team just was so bad, just absolutely bad compared to the Stars. Who, again, let's remember the Stars are on the second night of a back to back, and they're what 11-0-2 in their last 13 games on the second night of a back to back. That's just ridiculous. I remember 5-6 years ago when they could never win on the second night of a back to back. They were just never able to do that. So that continues for the Stars. That's great, but just they at this point in the game, Dallas was getting a bunch of turnovers from them, and they just weren't doing enough with it. And I mean, I had no idea what was to come, but it was only 2-1 at this point. So Anaheim had a couple of extended shifts in the Dallas zone, and that's when I thought they were starting to get something going. And then it was just 2 goals back to back. First, it's Steele, who scored on an odd man rush, and this goal again, just another inclination of how the night would go. Just a weird goal. It was called a goal on the ice, and the puck never actually entered the net because Kreider comes from behind and shoves Steele into the net and into the post, which caused the net to go off the pegs. And then the puck entered the I forget the wording of the rule or whatever, but as soon as it happened, I knew it was a goal. And my dad was like, "Oh well, the net came off the peg, so it's not a goal." It's like, no, not based off of the new rules. If the puck crosses the goal line and the net would normally be there, it is considered a goal, especially if it was the opposing team who caused the net to be knocked off its pegs. So I was very, very confident in that it was going to be a goal and that Steele was going to get rewarded for that because man, did he take a shot! The side view from the top, from the opposite side of the arena, just kind of glanced down on him. And he's like looking at his left hand, it's just like, ow. At first, we were afraid that he might have injured himself, but thankfully, he seemed to be okay. Uh, and then the second goal, which would make it 4-1, Harley would score from inside Dostal's left faceoff circle after Rantanen forced a turnover in the neutral zone. It was just a great play by Rantanen, and again, another turnover by the Ducks in the neutral zone. And it's Harley's only his second goal of the season. And we're starting to see Harley make some better plays defensively. That he had his miscues tonight, but maybe that goal will get him going. It would be really nice to see him get going, especially after being out for so long, about 20-ish games. And then after that goal, I thought that maybe they would leave Dostal in there until the end of the first, but Joe Quenneville was just like, nah, screw this, man. Mrazek's in, Dostal's out. Random side tangent. I still think that goalies should get some kind of warm up before they're just thrown into a game. That's just asking for goalies to get, to get hurt. That needs to be something. Any goalie should get at least a couple of pucks thrown his way where he can track them and make some saves. But before the game actually restarts. But that's just stupid. I think that should be a thing. And then Seneca, who was probably the Ducks' best player here tonight. I didn't see much of anybody. A little bit of Gauthier, but it was mostly Beckett Seneca who had a really good game. He would have had a breakaway at this point. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first. 2:27. Petrovic tries to chip it out, but he turns it over. It leads to a shot and a chance for Anaheim. DeSmith just kind of wipes it all up and takes a bounding cloth and just cleans it all up. But Petrovic had a rough game tonight. That's, if I'm being like super pessimistic, Petrovic had a very, very rough game tonight, and I wonder if all the hockey that he's played and being overutilized over the last I'd say 2 months, maybe that's finally starting to get to him. But he's playing less minutes because Lundqvist is basically in the top 4, and then Harley is also back in the top 4. So I don't know. Maybe we see Capobianco in for Petrovic in the next game, because I think Petrovic probably needs a bit of a rest, and Capobianco has kind of deserved it. He needs to get back in there. He's played well, and I think he deserves a second look. So And then literally a minute later, I said Petrovic almost turns it over again from his own zone, but Anaheim would bring it in offside. So it was like a high stick, I think. Uh, there was a really good defensive play by Rope that would have been a golden chance for Anaheim, but it didn't exist because Rope made sure of it. After the first period, going into the first intermission, I wrote Dallas just needs to remember to play their game. And literally as I was typing that down, I think Razor said the same thing. And I was just reminded that they had a 2-goal lead against the Anaheim Ducks in their last game against them, and the game ended up being 7-5. And most of those goals that Anaheim got was that second period barrage. I think it was at least 4. It might have been 5. And that second period ended up being huge for Anaheim. So I just wanted them to be aware of that, make sure they were not screwing it up for themselves. Second period, 19:30 remaining. Duchesne negated an icing. It was just great hustle by him. About 30 seconds later, Hintz didn't get everything on a shot, but it was a great centering feed from behind the net by Bork, who I can't believe I haven't talked about this yet, but Bork played on that line with Hintz and Robertson. I don't think he was necessarily bad, but I don't think he was necessarily good either. I think he was just kind of meh, which, I mean, it's fine when you've got Robo with a 3-point night here tonight. Might have been 4. I need to look at that. And then literally 10 seconds after that chance for Hintz, Robo would take a second tripping penalty. And yes, they were actually both penalties this time. Dallas would go back to the PK. McTavish would try the copyrighted low triangle play that the Stars power play uses all the time. They're very familiar with it, but McTavish can't get the shot off. And then they would kill that off. Robo tried to make a really ill-advised pass out of his own zone. And every once in a while, Robo will do that. But there's so many good things that Robo does that you kind of overlook that and you just kind of move on. Anaheim had another turnover in their own zone with 15 minutes remaining. Now, the one thing, and I'm being very pessimistic because I don't know. Again, I'll say this one more time. I don't know if it was the Ducks were just really that bad or if the Stars were just really that good. I think it was more the Ducks were just that bad and the Stars were just, pretty good. They were fine. They were good. But for me, there were several D-men who were kind of caught out of position at points during the game, and 2 players kind of stuck out to me. Ilya Lyubushkin, who still had a pretty decent game tonight. It was just a couple of times that I saw that it looked like he was out of position. And just from my eyes, from a fan's eyes, I'm not an expert or anything like that. Just from my eyes and from what I understand about hockey, he looked out of position. And then Nils also every once in a while just gets caught off guard, and Harley is having to play Superman sometimes to kind of save his butt. But up to that point, I mean, it was 4-1, and it hadn't costed Dallas anything. Anaheim hadn't made them pay for it, so I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, if Anaheim's not going to do anything with it, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I wrote again. Anaheim is continuing to turn the puck over in their own zone, even after they win faceoffs. So when they would win faceoffs in their own zone, they were going up the boards, and the Stars, it didn't matter. The Stars were grabbing the puck, and the Ducks were turning it back over to them at the half walls almost every single time for about 5 minutes. Dallas would go on the power play. It's our good old friend, Mikael Granlund, which I really wish we had kept him. But anyways, Granlund would take I think it was interference call on Johnson behind the Anaheim net, whatever it was. I didn't actually hear the call. I'm just assuming it was interference. Someone in chat can probably tell me. But that goal, or excuse me, that power play would lead to a goal. And it's Robo who makes him pay. He scored a power play goal with just some really quick hands and tight right in front of Peter Mrazek. And it was just awesome. It was a great play by Robo. It was a little bit of a broken play, but the thing that surprised me was Chris Kreider, who was the one that shoved Steele into the net and almost gave Steele an injury. He was just like a front row seat combatant to that goal for Robo. He just kind of stood there and did nothing. He just stared at Robo, watched Robo do his magic. Then So that makes it 5-1 Dallas. And remember this, we still have about half the game to go. It's already 5-1. Petrovic would take a penalty at 7:26. I think that's his second penalty of the game, maybe his first. But unlike the two tripping calls that Robo took, this one was a touch foul in my opinion. I thought it was dumb, and I thought Paling fell. And let me be clear. He did not dive. I don't think he dived. I think he just fell. But nonetheless, Dallas will go back to work on the penalty kill. There was some great PK work by Ritzy during that. The real only chance they had was Chris Kreider kind of was right on the icing line and just kind of tried to back up into the Stars defense a little bit and kind of just bludgeon it past DeSmith, but he wasn't able to do so. And the shots were 15-12 Anaheim right then. And they would kill off the penalty again because that's what the Stars penalty kill tends to do. And then Robertson would score his second of the game and second in a row. And I think it was Razor that called it a tantalizing drag. He sold to the Anaheim Ducks that he was going to shoot forehand, and man, they bit hard. And then he goes to the backhand, and what a unbelievable backhand shot in the corner, bar down. And it was thanks to some great pressure by Rope Hintz, once again down in the zone to force a turnover in the Anaheim zone. About a minute later, Beckett Seneca again with a great look from inside DeSmith's left face-off circle, but I'm not quite sure if it was DeSmith who made the save there or if Essa was the one who actually blocked the shot. I still don't know up to this point. If I had to guess, I think that Essa blocks the shot, but just a guess. And then Dallas would take a 6-goal lead, 7-1. And it was Adam Erne who returns to the lineup this evening. And he would score, sweeping the puck around Mrazek's right pad. And it was kind of a broken play. I don't think it was intended this way. If it was intended this way, wow. But it was Harley with the point shot. It was tipped to Erne by Foxa. So I think Foxa was just trying to get a stick on it and look for like just a deflection in or something. And it ended up going straight to Adam Erne. And when you're having a game like this, everything seems to go your way a little bit. So at the end of the second intermission, it is 7-1 Dallas. I think this is their biggest lead of the regular season going into an intermission. So the record that was set for this regular season was the most goals by one team was 9. So the Stars were only 1 away from tying it here this evening. But before we get into the third period, I typed this down because it was very briefly mentioned on X. Former Dallas Star Mason Marchment, his little tour in Seattle is officially closed like that. He didn't even last half of a season there. He gets traded to the Blue Jackets, and the Blue Jackets give the Seattle Kraken a second-round pick, and then of their own, and then they also give the Rangers 4th-round pick as well. So I'm not sure what Seattle is doing. I don't know if they are trying to go and get a high draft pick, like number 1, number 2, number 3 overall, or if they're just trying to get better. I don't know. And at the same time, maybe they just took Mason Marchment because they knew they could get a decent draft pick for him. Because I think the Stars gave a 3rd-round pick. Someone help me out if you're awake. And then they turn around and they sell him even before the trade deadline. You could call this the pre-Christmas break roster freeze, and they get 3 they get 3 draft picks for having open cap space. So you know what? Maybe that's just the direction they're going. They weren't expecting to be good, and right now the Seattle Kraken are very much, struggling. But that trade to Columbus, that could be really good for Mason Marchment, which I hate. I absolutely hate that. But hopefully we won't have to see him very much now that he's even in a separate conference. He's over in the Eastern Conference now. Okay, but anyway, going into the third period here, Dallas's lead would be shortened to 5, and who else? Beckett Seneca, he'd score from a cross zone, pass off the rush from Mason McTavish. I love Mason McTavish. He's such a great player. He's so much fun to watch. He's been, and I kind of put and wrote down that Seneca is one of the few Ducks that actually ended up showing up tonight uh, throughout the game. And then of all the things that happened here tonight, and we're fixing to get to the Robo situation here in a second. This is the last thing I would have had on my bingo card. Ilya Labushkin with a sniper shot. I I put what? Boosh? What is this? He goes short side on Mrazek and then goes top corner bar down. There was no daylight there. Little daylight. And then what was awesome is just seeing the shoulder shrug. They're just like, he's like, I tried it. It worked. Great. So it was that's probably one of the best goals I think I've seen a defenseman score in a long time, just in terms of how tough it was. And now we're at the Robo incident. Robo had a mini breakaway with 15 minutes remaining in the third, and it was him going towards the net against Mrazek, and then Frank Vatrano, who, rightly so, he is a very proud player. He is a guy that I would want on my team, to be completely honest. He reminds me of like a Brad Marchand light. Obviously not the same, points or anything like that, but a very good locker room guy, a guy that can basically play anywhere. He's had 20 goals in this season several times. It would be awesome to see Vatrano and Victor Green, but regardless, I don't like him right now because he almost injured Robo, and Vatrano just went too far. When I first saw what they didn't show the entire replay from when Robo took the shot and then doing his little semicircle to get back into the play against the boards. So the first thing I saw was Robo slashing Vatrano. And I was just like, okay, maybe Robo deserved it a little bit. But then it went back further and it showed the actual development of the play, and it showed what Vatrano did, which that was not a good play by Vatrano. And I get it. You're upset. Your team's getting absolutely destroyed and everything like that. But when you do stupid crap like that, that's when people get hurt, and that's when people's careers are shortened. You can just ask George Larac, for example. You can. I mean, he had. I don't even remember who it was. I want to say it was Marty McSorley, but I don't think that's right either. But basically, George Larac was a very much an enforcer back in the day. I think in the 80s and 90s, and he got slashed super hard in the head, and that was basically his career. That was basically it. And then what's another one? Oh, I literally had it in my head, and then I went on blabbing too much, and then forgot the name. Oh gosh. Uh, it's gonna bug me. I'm sure it'll come back to me here in a little bit. But regardless, the play that Vatrano did in this game here tonight was completely unacceptable, and that is a play that I thought Robo was hurt. I truly thought Robo was hurt, and I mean, just the way that he takes his stick, he slashes Robo basically on the hands, and it caused Robo pain. And literally after he did the slash, he cross checked him in the lower back, and then Robo gives him his little love tap and said, "Hey, I don't appreciate that," and then just goes full on him. Vatrano does. And what was really dangerous, especially, is that if you watch the play carefully, Robo's legs almost got wedged underneath somebody, and then he as he's being pulled back by Frank Vatrano on top of that. So that's like asking for something with like a knee or an ankle or something down there with your legs that could really seriously injure the player. And if that had happened to Robo and Robo had gotten hurt on that play, Vatrano would be public enemy number one. And the next time the Stars see the Ducks, which I don't have that information in front of me or off the top of my head, he is going to have to answer with a fight. That would be something that would not even be a question early on in the game. And but regardless, Frank Vatrano just lost it. He was sick of losing. And that's not the way to act. Let's just say that. I've been watching a lot of this. I know some of y'all know Frank Slope, the I think he's the Pinell County Sheriff officer, and he's just fantastic. I love watching his reaction to body cam videos and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that he says is that you can't do that. Like you just can't. You can't do that. Yeah, act like a good human being. And Vetrano right there was not, it was not a good human being. I heard his voice in my head while I was watching that play, and then even after he pulls him down and backwards, he's got him in a headlock. It left like a welt on Robo's neck. He was still going at Robo and throwing Robo into the ice and just going way overboard. Way overboard. I get you want to be upset about the slash, fine. Like give him a face wash or even punch him in the face with your glove on. Fine. Okay, but when you have a play like that where it could very very much injure a player of very high status for a team, that's when it's completely wrong and it goes too far. And I'm hearing them now in my mentions. I'm hearing them on social media and all the other players saying, well, what about Rantanen doing all this stuff? And don't get me started on that. I don't have time for that. It's 12:40 in the morning. Okay, I'll explain it another day. But anyway, that Vetrano just lost his mind when he did that. Moving on, things were very much more, simmered down, and not like things got simmered up throughout the game. It was just that one random incident. It was just Vatrano who was just all, hacked off and everything. Everything else was fine. But anyways, 14 minutes remaining. Gauthier had a chance, shorthanded after Harley turnover. There was another chance for Anaheim on a 2-on-1. And I neglected to mention Dallas is on the power play at this point. They got a 4-minute power play. Obviously Vatrano is out of the game. Robo gets another penalty for his slash, and I thought that was hilarious. But Rantanen appears to score to make it 9-2, and this time it went far side into the corner from down below the left face-off circle, and I guess we just all assumed it just went in because the Stars had just been scoring bunches and bunches of goals in this game, but they celebrate the goal and everything. Rantanen goes through the line, and then it's like, whoa, hold on, wait a second, and the all the officiating is over by the penalty boxes, and they're like, it never went in. It hit the post, and it just perfectly dropped back behind the Anaheim netminder. So that was just lucky. And I assumed it went in too, so I just whatever. So it's back to 8-2. 12:15. Johnston kind of gets a shot off with the triangle, but he didn't get all of it, and Duchesne was kind of sniffing for a rebound there. And then 11 minutes 15 seconds remaining in the third. You could see that the Stars were starting to show some mercy with a power play 3 unit is what I said. I think it was, who was it? It was Ritzkovian, Bork, Ben, and then I think it was Lindell and Harley. I think it was the 5 on this third power play unit. So, just kind of showing a little bit of grace and a little bit of mercy to Anaheim. So shots were finally 22 apiece at one point. I was finally like, hey, we're not getting outshot. We're actually like tied with somebody in terms of shots on goal. And then Granlund would score a really ugly garbage goal. James texted our little family chat and said, "Oh, that probably should have been goaltender interference." But I mean, you're up 8-3. You don't want to give them another power play. Excuse me, and risk them coming back in the game. And I mean, if there's anybody that could come back in a game like this, it would most definitely be this team here. I'm not surprised one at all. So let's see. Erne almost had his second, but Mrazek just got enough of it. So Adam Erne was just really good here tonight again. And then I just kind of typed this 5-word sentence as the seconds of the third period just kind of disappeared. This game was never close. Dallas made the Anaheim Ducks really pay for all of their turnovers that they had. And I mean, Anaheim just kept feeding it to them. So, I mean, if you're Dallas, what are you supposed to do? Just hand them back the buck and say, no, you're not supposed to do that. No, you go after him. You keep going until there's like nothing left. And it's just like that Simpsons meme. Stop. It's already dead. Dallas just absolutely destroyed the Anaheim Ducks here tonight. Get a little bit of revenge after that game early in October. We were 7-5, and the Stars had a 2-goal lead going into the first intermission. So it's 1-1, and I was able to kind of shove this into the face of my old preacher back in Odessa. So that was fun. Travis, love you, brother, but your Ducks were not on tonight at all. Not even close. That's all I got in terms of notes. There's so many things that you could talk about otherwise here tonight. The special teams again was an issue, or not an issue, for the Dallas Stars. Both penalty kill and power play were both excellent. The one thing I noticed that it was also pointed out as I was noticing it, the Stars have not gotten a lot of power plays recently, but when they have gotten a penalty or a power play, they've normally been very productive with it. And they did it again here tonight. The penalty kill just ridiculous. That just doesn't matter who's on it and who's doing it. They're playing it so well, and maybe Essa Lindell deserves to be the captain of the penalty kill. Maybe we can make that happen. But seriously, just fantastic game overall for the Stars in terms of special teams. I don't think that DeSmith was again yawning. I don't think DeSmith was like outstanding tonight like he was in his last game, but he was solid enough in order to get the game here tonight. And that's all you can ask of a backup. And the Stars are kind of, I can't even think of the right word right now because it's so late, but they are very lucky and very blessed that they have a backup goalie who can come in and basically steal you games. Like that's not normal for a backup goalie. Normally the backup goalie is just, okay, you're good enough. We can still win with you. We just need you to make just that save, like one that save. But that's not the case with Casey DeSmith. Casey DeSmith has been superior this season. He's been absolutely excellent, and I hope that continues. I mean the guys. I mean, let's just real quick and let me pull this up. The score sheet here tonight and kind of go through. I mean, I would not be surprised if almost every single forward had a point here in tonight's game. But man, right when you need it to work well, the NHL site is just stupid slow. Okay, in terms of box score, the thing I was keeping a lookout for, it was especially time on ice in the third period, and it is way even. And you had some guys who did not play very much here tonight. Let's see. Did anybody play 20 shifts? Okay, Fox had 20 shifts, as did Oscar Beck. So the fourth line had more shifts tonight than anybody else. That's funny. the lowest time on ice for forwards was, I believe, Adam Erne, and he played 11:25. And in terms of the highest, I think it was Wyatt Johnston. Where are you, Wyatt? No, it was not Wyatt. Oh wait, maybe it was. Yeah, it was Wyatt Johnston. He only played 16 minutes and 43 seconds time on ice tonight, and that is not normal for this team. Normally, you're seeing, you know, closer to 20 minutes for some of those top guys, and maybe around 8, 9, 10 for the fourth liners. But I mean, when you're up this much, you're allowed to rest your top guys a little bit more, and that gives a little bit more ice time to your bottom six guys. Just yeah, that's how you manage 3 games in 4 nights, and the Stars are gonna have to be doing that, when they go and have another game on Monday as they head home. Defenseman, I mean, same thing. The Petrovic played 16 minutes time on ice here tonight, and that was the lowest. The highest was Esa Lindell with 23:12, which that is way lower than what we've seen from Esa and Miro in particular over the last month with all of the injuries that the Stars have had to deal with on their blue line. I mean, Harley had 21:09, Labushkin 16, or excuse me, 17:50, and Nils had 16:43. Heiskanen had 22 minutes and 5 seconds. So, yep, that's how you manage time a little bit, and maybe they will be a tad bit more rested for their final game here in this 4-day stretch. So, no game tomorrow since they had a back-to-back Thursday, Friday. But I will be back with you guys on uh, on Sunday. Excuse me, I said Monday because technically it is Saturday right now. But whatever, you get the idea. But biggest winner, biggest loser tonight. I mean, there's so many people you could give it to. Harley with a +5. That's nuts. That's very abnormal. No one else had +3. I'll give it to Jason Robertson. Robo is just Robo is like he is him. That is just a guy that is having what could be a career year when he needs a new contract. He tends to do really well in the final season of his contract, and that's anything that everyone is talking about in Stars Land is what is Jason Robertson worth? And if you're Jim Nill right now, you are trying to get him signed now before he goes off and does even more stuff than what we've seen. I think he's got 42 points. 42 points, and it might be up a little higher. It might be up to 44 or 45 tonight with his 3 points tonight. But just fantastic, and he deserves every last bit of it. The guy was a second round pick for the Stars, and he's been really good. So yeah. Just to give you an idea, he did have a goal against Minnesota, but the previous 3 games against Florida, LA, and San Jose, he had no points, and then he just all of a sudden has 3 here this evening. Only playing 15 minutes and 18 seconds time on ice here tonight too. So that's my biggest winner. I'll give it to Jason Robertson. The biggest loser is not even a question for me here tonight. Screw you, Frank Vatrano. Like that seriously could have been a dirty move if Robo had gotten hurt. And this might be controversy when I say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. I don't care. There might be some supplemental discipline for Vatrano, just with how aggressive he was, and the way that the entire thing happened. He was not in control of himself whatsoever. He was upset at the outcome of the game and the expected outcome at that point in at that point in the game. So he just come on. He's the biggest loser. I don't think he will get suspended or fined or whatever just because the Stars did have him kicked out of the game for that. Well, Stars didn't have him kicked out of the game, but the refs kind of kicked him out of the game, and he was done. So y'all let me know in the comment section below what y'all think if Vatrano is going to get any kind of supplemental discipline. If he gets anything which I doubt it, because I think the league will look at this and say, okay, well, the penalties that were called are good enough. If he gets anything, it might be like the maximum fine allowable under the CBA, which is like chump change for these guys who make millions and millions of dollars. But nonetheless, he is the biggest loser tonight, Frank Vatrano, and the biggest winner is Jason Robertson. Well, that's going to do it here for me this evening. I am so tired. Uh, I'm getting a little dizzy just because of how tired I am. Appreciate you guys following along with me here tonight. There's even more of you who are listening afterwards who are not listening live. If you're here for the first time, you liked anything that you've heard this evening, please make sure you click like and subscribe. You hit that notification bell. Even if you don't like me and you think I'm an idiot, and you still hit that notification bell so you can come back and get even more mad at some of the takes that I have. I'd really appreciate that. We're trying to get to that fourth digit. I really want to try to get there before the end of January. That's a little bit uh, ambitious, but I think we can get there. So I'd appreciate your help in that if you could do so. If you're on the audio side, make sure you leave a 5-star review wherever that may be on your favorite podcast platform of choice. Once again, thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code THPN. Alongside nobody else tonight, my name is Ryan Chambers. This has been Starcastic Remarks. Dallas Stars do get the win tonight, 8-3 over the Anaheim Ducks. I hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever you guys are listening, GG boys and go Stars.